Stephen Colbert's show has been canceled. It's great. Great news, is it not?
This is incredible on so many levels, and I'm going to call him on this.
I love how they claimed it's a financial reason, but everything is a financial reason, right? If you open up a restaurant, you serve lousy food, people stop coming, you close it, you don't say because the food sucked. You said, well, it was a financial reason. But they didn't just they didn't cancel his show. They canceled the whole show.
Yeah.
This was a quote institution, and they said rather than put somebody in his place, they just said we're closing up. I mean, imagine being a chef. You know, you're such a bad chef that they cancel food.
When Stephen Colbert's late night show was canceled, Megyn Kelly and Greg Gutfeld didn't just offer commentary, they tore it to shreds. Each delivered a scathing response in their own unapologetic style, holding nothing back. They zeroed in on what they saw as the show's long-standing flaws, the stale jokes, the lifeless skits, and the heavy-handed moralizing that had come to define Colbert's later years on air. This wasn't lighthearted ribbing. It felt more like a full-scale takedown of his legacy. In their eyes, Colbert didn't bow out with dignity or receive a standing ovation. Instead, they painted a picture of a host being ushered off stage under the weight of his own pretensions. The forced laughter, the virtue signaling, and the increasingly toothless satire were, according to them, exposed for what they had become: hollow, tired, and out of touch.
Matt Bellany, founding partner of Puck News and formerly Hollywood Reporter. The timing and optics, he says, are terrible for the Colbert cancellation. Not true, not true, not true. The timing and optics are perfect. Only leftists think that the timing and optics are terrible because they think somehow this was retaliatory because Stephen Colbert was ripping on CBS for entering into that $16 million settlement with Donald Trump, who was suing them over the 60 Minutes Kamala Harris interview and the edited clips, claiming it was a deceptive practice under Texas law.
It's amazing. I mean, I guess he's less popular than Shingles, but you get this, it's so obvious. You can't do a comedy show and a sermon at the same time. Your job is to say something funny, not being the show that says, that's not funny, about all the things that are just too grim to talk about.
For many, Colbert's cancellation didn't come as a shock. It felt more like the inevitable conclusion to a slow decline. The only real prize was that it hadn't happened sooner. Critics like Megyn Kelly argued the network should have seen it coming years ago, joking that Colbert had long since stopped relying on comedy and was coasting on self-importance. She noted that his smug persona seemed to replace actual humor, and while he once made audiences laugh, in recent years he'd been coasting on recycled Twitter-level jokes and a sense of superiority. Eventually, the network cut ties, and late-night TV lost what Kelly dubbed America's longest-running eye roll.
Yeah, I share your feelings. It's not just the end of our show, but it's the end of the Late Show on CBS. I'm not being replaced. This is all just going away. And I do want to say that the folks at CBS have been great partners. I'm so grateful to the Tiffany Network for giving me this chair and this beautiful theater to call home. And of course, I'm grateful to you, the audience, who have joined us.
Megyn Kelly didn't just laugh at Colbert's downfall. She dissected it with precision. It was less mockery and more like a courtroom takedown, with Colbert's career on trial and Kelly as the relentless prosecutor. Watching her analysis felt like witnessing a disappointed teacher grading a test riddled with wrong answers. She walked through his career step by step, highlighting the decline from sharp and clever to dull and formulaic. By the end, she handed down her verdict, a well-learned, failing grade. Maybe, she added with a smirk, he deserved a tiny participation. Free ban just to remind him that showing up isn't the same as showing up with something to offer. Greg.
Here's Stephen Colbert grappling with that news.
Now, if, like me, you're wondering why the Department of Energy is the one making this judgment, it's because that agency oversees a network of U.S. national laboratories, some of which conduct advanced biological research. No, energy department. No biolabs until you finish building your electric car charger.
Gutfeld took a very different approach. He didn't analyze Colbert's downfall. He celebrated it like a victory party. If Megyn Kelly was the stern critic, Gutfeld was the guy tossing gasoline on the bonfire. To him, Colbert's cancellation wasn't surprising. It was long overdue. He openly enjoyed the moment, saying it felt satisfying to see Colbert's carefully crafted image finally collapse. After years of missing the mark with forced humor and smug delivery, Gutfeld saw the show's end as a kind of poetic justice. He likened it to watching someone who had been juggling arrogance and bad punchlines finally drop it all in a public flop.
No, here's a sample of what his show looked like in recent months. And this, I would submit to you, is why Stephen Colbert's show is no more.
Going on in LA reminds us that as citizens, it is crucial to speak out against Trump's fascist impulses, his rampant corruption, and his egregious violations of our norms and our laws. The last time a president bypassed a governor to send in the National Guard was 1965, when LBJ used troops to protect civil rights demonstrators in Alabama. So we've come full circle. Troops were deployed to protect protesters by Lyndon B. Johnson, and now they're being used to threaten protesters.
Both Megyn and Greg agreed that Colbert's downfall wasn't sudden. It was a slow, steady decline that had been unfolding for years. Back in his Comedy Central days, Colbert was sharp, clever, and genuinely satirical. He delivered real jokes with real edge. But everything changed when he moved to network late-night TV. Megyn argued that he abandoned his bold, risky humor in favor of a safer, more predictable style aimed at pleasing a broader audience. His jokes lost their punch, and the show's energy faded. Greg described it as a long, drawn-out sigh stretched over several years. They both saw the same pattern. Colbert once had bite, but he traded it for comfort hand. The result was a kind of comedy that just wasn't funny anymore.
Oh, hey, everybody. We got a great show for you tonight. Senator Adam Schiff was my guest. We harmonized on 7 Bridges Road. What a voice, I cried. But before we start the show, I want to let you know something that I found out just last night. Next year will be our last season. The network will be ending the...
Megyn Kelly argued that Colbert's monologues had stopped being funny a long time ago. Instead of delivering actual jokes, he drifted into giving speeches that sounded more like moral lectures than comedy. His audience didn't laugh because he was clever, they laughed because they agreed with what he was saying. "That's not comedy," she said. "That's group therapy, with commercials in between." Colbert, she claimed, delivered each monologue like a low-budget TED Talk, complete with bad lighting and an audience that looked like they'd taken a wrong turn, on their way to the grocery store. According to Megyn, Colbert wasn't canceled because of politics or any grand conspiracy. He lost his show because he couldn't hold viewers without leaning on tired political punchlines and the same repetitive moral messaging.